Part C. Directions. This part of the test consists of several talks, each given by a single speaker. After each of these talks, there are a number of questions. You will hear each talk and question only once, and the questions are not written out. When you have heard each question, read the 4 answer choices and select the one, A, B, C, or D, that best answers the question based on what is directly stated or on what can be inferred. Then fill in the space on your answer sheet that matches the letter of the answer that you have selected. Don't forget, during actual exams, taking notes or writing in your test book is not permitted. Here is an example. You will hear,
"Students, this evening we'll have a chance to observe a phenomenon that we've discussed several times in class. Tonight, there will be a lunar eclipse. As we've said, when an eclipse of the moon occurs, the Earth passes between the sun and the moon. Therefore, the shadow of the Earth moves across the surface of the moon and obscures it. Because you won't be looking at the sun, it is not necessary to use the special lenses and filters that you need when observing a solar eclipse. You can observe a lunar eclipse with your unaided eye or with a telescope, and photograph it with an ordinary camera. So if the weather's not cloudy tonight, go out and take a look at this eclipse of the moon. I'm sure you'll find it interesting."
Now here is a sample question. You will hear, in what course is this lecture probably being given? You will read, A. Philosophy, B. Meteorology, C. Astronomy, D. Photography. The lecture concerns a lunar eclipse, a topic that would typically be discussed in an astronomy class. The choice that best answers the question, in what course is this lecture probably being given, is C. Astronomy. You should fill in C on your answer sheet. Here is another sample question. You will hear, according to the speaker, which of the following occurs during a lunar eclipse? You will read, A. The Earth's shadow moves across the moon. B. Clouds block the view of the moon. C. The moon moves between the Earth and the sun. D. The sun can be observed without special equipment. From the lecture, you learn that a lunar eclipse occurs when the Earth moves between the sun and the moon, and the shadow of the Earth passes across the moon. The choice that best answers the question, according to the speaker, which of the following occurs during a lunar eclipse, is A. The Earth's shadow moves across the moon. Questions 38 to 41. Listen to a part of a talk about a type of dance.
Good afternoon. In today's class, we're going to continue our discussion of dance around the world with a look at the hula, a dance of the Hawaiian Islands. And we'll see a video of a traditional hula dance. Today, when we hear the word hula, most of us think of women in grass skirts, swaying to ukulele music while tourists take pictures. The traditional version, though, is quite different from the dance as it is performed today. The traditional hula was danced by both men and women who had been trained at special schools. It was accompanied by rhythmic chanting. The chants and the dances were originally performed to honor the gods, promote fertility, or praise great Hawaiian leaders. The traditional hula was banned by missionaries from New England around 1820, and the hula dance itself survived only in a radically different form. The performance you'll see on the screen this afternoon, though, is as much like the original dance as possible. Even the costumes the dancers are wearing are authentic. Now let's turn down the lights and watch.
Number 38. Who is the audience for this lecture? Number 39. What can be inferred about the dance that the audience will see? Number 40. What effect did New England missionaries have on the traditional hula dance in around 1820? Number 41. What will the audience for this talk do next? Questions 42 to 45. Listen to the following talk.
Imagine you're driving down the highway one spring day and it begins to rain. You hear the sound of the rain on the car roof. Suddenly, it sounds as if small stones are pounding on the car, and you see balls of ice bouncing on the road. You're in a hailstorm, and you'd better get your car under cover. Hailstones can damage vehicles, as well as gardens and farmers' crops. If you pick up a hailstone and cut it in half, you'll see it has layers, just like an onion. A hailstone begins its existence as a snowflake, high in the atmosphere. The snowflake comes in contact with what is called supercooled water, water that exists at temperatures below freezing, but is still in liquid form. This water forms a coating of ice around the snowflake, and it becomes a hailstone. As the hailstone falls, the layers of ice build up. Air currents may lift the hailstone back into the supercooled water many times, and more layers of ice form until the air currents can no longer hold it up. Then it falls to earth. Hailstorms occur most often in the spring. Some hailstones are as big as baseballs and may weigh over a pound.
Number 42. What is the main purpose of this lecture? Number 43. Why does the speaker compare a hailstone to an onion? Number 44. According to the speaker, how does a hailstone begin its existence? Number 45. According to the speaker, when are hailstorms most common? Questions 46 to 50. Listen to part of a lecture about child development.
Now, in the last few minutes of class, I'd like to address a slightly different issue. The question of how children learn to talk. Learning to speak their own language is one of children's greatest accomplishments, yet it is a somewhat mysterious process. Children first begin to make language-like noises when they are between 2 and 4 months old. These noises generally begin with the letters G and K, because these sounds, goo and coo, are the easiest sounds for infant mouths to make. Between 4 months and 8 months, infants begin to babble meaningless syllables. Most common are those beginning with P, B, D, M, or N sounds, followed by a vowel sound. Parents sometimes misinterpret these as actual words, such as mama or dada. Between 6 months and a year, babies say their first true words. Vocabulary grows slowly at first, usually only a few words a month. But once a child has learned about 50 words, generally at around 18 months, the pace picks up rapidly. At first, children say single words. Then they begin forming 2-word combinations. All gone, more milk, see doggy. Children's 2-word combinations are so similar the world over that they read like translations of one another. Between the age of 2 and 3, children can form complete sentences, and have mastered the basics of grammar. Can you believe it? A 2.5-year-old toddler is a grammatical genius, and all without studying a single rule. Typically, 4-year-olds know some 15,000 words and can form very sophisticated sentences. Even their mistakes are very logical. I saw 2 mans. Or, we goed to Grandma's house. So, how does this all happen? Well, there are several conflicting theories about language acquisition, but unfortunately, there just isn't time to discuss them today. So we'll take them up in Wednesday's class. In the meantime, please read Chapter 8 in your textbook. See you Wednesday.
Number 46. What is the main topic of this talk? Number 47. Which of the following sounds would a 2-month-old baby be most likely to produce? Number 48. At what age do most children begin to master the basics of grammar? Number 49. What does the speaker say about the grammatical mistakes that 4-year-olds make? Number 50. Why does the speaker not discuss the theories about how children acquire language?
This is the end of Section 1. Listening comprehension. Stop work on